Hi, welcome to valuationpodcast.com, a podcast and video series about all things related to business and valuation. My name is Melissa Gragg, and I'm a business valuation expert focused on strategic planning and exit planning in St. Louis, Missouri. Today, we are talking ERC tax credit information for advisors and business owners with Catherine Tindall. She's a CPA in California, specializing in tax credits, and is also a partner with Dominion Enterprise Services. She's combined proprietary technology with professional expertise with her CPA team and is able to offer a fast turnaround time on credit claims while maintaining a high degree of precision. It's her mission to help business owners in key industries affected by COVID shutdowns, such as restaurants, construction, and hospitality, to take advantage of the employee retention credit before it begins to expire in the spring of 2024. Welcome, Catherine. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you? Thanks for having me.
And I want to tell people just a little bit, or have you maybe tell them a little bit about how you came about this, because it's not that you really set into like, I'm going to be the expert on ERC tax
Yeah,
credit.
yeah.
Like, tell them a little bit more, because this is how our industry does change. But, what were you doing and how did you kind of start really focusing on this?
So for myself, my professional career is all tax. That's where I've spent all my time. It's funny, my parents are both CPAs with the tax practice, so it's kind of a in the blood thing. But for myself and my partner, we primarily worked before the pandemic with clients for strategic income tax planning, and then he has a deep background in R&D tax credits, which is, credit programs can be kind of similar to each other. So when this program was released during the pandemic, we decided early on, once we learned more about it, that if you're going to do this kind of work, you really need to be an expert in it. And because we already had the experience doing the R&D tax credits, and then also our team just kind of had a unique affinity for building tools and software and that sort of thing. We saw the opportunity. We did the work for our own clients, and then I'm a member of a tax planning society, and so we offered it to other small practitioners, because for a lot of them, it just doesn't make sense to only do this credit for, say, 10, 20 employees and then have all the audit exposure. And, if they don't have a background in credit work, it's, you're opening up potential liability issues there for, you as a practitioner. And so we started doing these for other practitioners. And then it just ballooned into a practice area, as more practitioners found us, as more business owners found us, because it really is a wonderful opportunity. But for a lot of professionals, it just didn't make sense for them to take it on for, a production standpoint. And, we did. And, I think for us too, the main issue that we see with the program is really going to be the IRS enforcement. And so that was something we put a lot of careful thought into, and we were designing our program and how we were going to execute to make sure that we're ready for the IRS enforcement when it comes, because that's the key problem with this program, is that the IRS, just kind of rubber stamps, processes these claims. They take long enough to do it, but they rubber stamp these claims, and then it's not going to be, another year, 2 years before enforcement really ticks up on this. And because it's such high dollar figures at stake, and there's a lot of bad actors in this space, there's just going to be a massive IRS enforcement effort. They have onboarded a special task force for this program. So it's, that was the key issue we saw with the program and why we got into it and why practitioners work with us, because, it's the IRS audit. That's the thing that's the critical issue.
Yeah. And I mean, as a business owner, if I'm looking at, my accountant, maybe I've been with my accountant for a long time, but they're nervous about filing this or amending it,
Yeah.
right? Because they don't want to take on that. That is what, you and your firm and other firms that are very much specialized in this are prepared to take on some of that risk. And that's some of the piece of it that I think makes me even feel more comfortable about the fact that you're standing behind your numbers, in that you're willing to fight for it. And that could be a unique difference between practitioners that I would encourage people to ask about. Because if they don't, then it's maybe they're just their own personal accountant doing it. And the personal accountant would be like, I don't think I don't think your credit is worth the effort. And really, it's the risk of the accountant not the risk of the business owner that's kind of pushing them away from it, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because if they don't have a background in doing IRS representation work, it's going to work against them because, like I said, there's a gap here. And so if you don't have your paperwork in order now, while everything's available, in 2 years from now, when they come back, are you going to have all the substantiating documentation you need? Are you really confident in what you did? Because this is going to get, this program's going to get heavily second checked by the IRS. And for a lot of practitioners, they don't want to take the risk. And I'd say for most business owners, don't let that ward you off the program.
Right.
Because you're entitled to the money. And it's just, for you as a business owner, the key decision is just working with a good practitioner for it, who's ready for the audit piece. And, for us, I always tell people, we include that as part of the initial engagement, just because I create the audit file when we do the claims. So, when it comes time to actually having to deal with the audit, it's just a matter of sending over some paperwork that we've already put together and, maybe doing a phone call or a letter, and we're done, so I'm not concerned about it. But I know for a lot of practitioners, that's the main fear here. For the business owners, that's the main fear, and it's justified. That's a justified thing to be afraid of.